Hello, I am Brother Kelly Hughes, Chaplain of the Arts. We are broadcasting live to tape from the beautiful Valiant Theatre here in the heart of Winnipeg's greasy Tenderloin. This is Kelly Hughes Live Slices Fringe Edition. We are in the middle of 2026 Fringe Festival. So this show airs all throughout on 101.5 UMFM. Normally Saturdays at 1, but we're all over the map right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, and we are on YouTube from now until the sun swallows the earth. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. And thank you so much to my guests for stopping by. Chloe Crockford, Wayne James, and Josh Longdo. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great. Your glasses are so great. What do you think about his glasses there? The Tom Cruise.
Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun.
Yeah.
But they're even more like gold and shiny. They're great. We love it.
Yeah.
We love it.
To protect my eyes from the blistering heat out there.
It's a bit much. So what I like to do is just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, why you exist, and then give me the elevator pitch for your show, Josh.
Ooh, right up the hop.
Yeah.
Ani Bojo, Josh Longdo, Indigenous Cuz. I'm an Anishinaabe playwright, storyteller, actor, director, producer, teacher. I live in Treaty 6, Amisquichy, Edmonton. I've been doing theater since I was 6 years old, a wee little lad. And I'm here doing my show, Elon Muskrat.
Nice. Wayne?
Wayne James, have a heritage farm. Went organic 25 years ago. We used to be a chemical farm, but then I had an epiphany one day, totally changed direction. And that's part of the motivation of doing Fringe is just I tend to see things from a point of view that I think is missing in discussions. Fringe, for me, is, storytelling. Storytellers, I think, are the heart and soul of any culture, any civilization. If we don't have storytellers, we don't have anything. And we're being taken over by technology, which is not grounded in the living world. It's grounded in technology, and we're losing our connection to the planet. And that's a large motivation of why I'm doing Fringe.
And what's your show?
Oh, yeah, it's called Humans, with a $sign at the end. So I sort of trace from the early primates, and we evolved into humans, then trace our history up to the present moment, and then talk about personal experiences that I've had over the years.
Chloe?
I'm Chloe, pronoun she, her. I'm currently a student at the University of Winnipeg who's studying theater and women and gender studies. I initially was a STEM student, and then I decided, you know what, I just want to have more fun in my life. So then now I'm involved in Fringe. I'm currently stage managing for Mother's Secret.
Okay, and what's the show?
The show is about two sisters who are trying to move their mother into a retirement home, but then they discover she has a secret that kind of uproots everything. I can't spoil it though.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows about mothers and fathers, and I wonder who wrote this show.
It was Joe McDonald.
Yeah, and how old's Joe?
I'm not sure.
Oh, Joe. Oh, I know Joe. Yeah, Joe. Sorry. Yes, Joe. I was thinking Joe, but I know Joe McDonald. And she's a little bit older than me, but people kind of my age and up, everybody's had to deal with the parent stuff. So
sure.
I can see, and she's she's a wonderful playwright and just the nicest person.
Yes.
She's just a absolutely decent human being. And yeah. So that's cool. Have you been here before, Josh?
Once.
Yeah, when was that?
2018.
What did you bring in 2018?
It was a different solo show called Rocco and Nakota Tales from the Land. It was a show about anxiety and knowing your roots will help you combat anxiety. Whereas the show this year is about the cautionary tales of capitalism. We'll go with that.
Good. Well, Wayne, he's sort of not a big fan of capitalism either, right?
You caught that right off.
I mean, we all have to participate. But yeah, I'm picking up what you're all putting down. How do you feel about capitalism, Chloe? for, against? You just
Not a fan. Apparently, this panel.
oh, okay.
That's the theme of today.
Peer pressure. And Wayne, is this have you done a Fringe show before?
Yes, I think it's my 8th, but I've lost count
Okay.
of just how many I've done. I started in 2011.
Okay, so you've been pretty. You do one every year.
Yeah,
or two?
there's been a few years that I've missed out, but yeah, and I tend to work around the same theme. But yeah, once in a while I'll do something that I want to do, but I'm largely driven by.
What do you mean that you want to do? You're doing something that you don't want to do?
Well,
The
that I
people,
feel
the people want. The people need it.
Yeah, like I did one on aviation a few years ago, Conquest of the Air, and I've been a pilot. I built my own airplane, so this is something I'm familiar with. The show I'm doing now is more about research and my thoughts on our humanity or lack of.
Yeah.
It's for me. I'm trying to fill the void that I don't see anyone talking about.
When you build an airplane, can you just fly it, or do you have to get somebody to like make sure it's all right?
Well, it depends if you want to do it legally or not.
Okay, depends
But
on
if you
want
build
to
a
do it
plane,
legally.
yeah, there's a process where you have to have it. Every time you cover something up, it has to be inspected before
Yeah.
you cover it to make sure that it's airworthy.
Yeah. How long have you been flying?
I haven't flown for a number of years, but I started, 50 years ago or something.
I have a friend who runs a rescue, and she only does work in northern flying communities. So there were some dogs. I fairly often I'll go up to St. Andrews Airport and I'll pick up dogs that have come in from up north. And the other day I picked some up, and there were two big crates, and they had all thrown up in both things. And the pilot's like, "Yeah, it was a bit bumpy," and I looked at this plane, and it's so small. Like it's just so small, like they're pulling these, like, they're just kind of pulling these out of the little, is it the fuselage, the little back?
Yeah.
They're just pulling them out of the little space in there. Like it's not even it just seemed like the Honda Fit of airplanes.
Yeah, just a little cubby hole.
And I'm just like, I'm not a good flyer. And I think that if I had to fly in one of those little planes, I think I would just die. Are you a good flyer, Josh?
Yes. I mean, I sit in my seat perfectly well. I'll eat my snacks wonderfully. I'm actually pretty good at napping on planes.
Okay.
I
So you're like a perfect baby.
I'm a perfect baby. I just get into the seat and just get rocked to sleep.
Chloe, do you like to fly?
When I'm up in the air, not when it's taking off for landing.
Yeah. I guess that's the worst part. Probably if Wayne was flying, we'd all be okay. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, call me right down.
He knows. Yeah. in one
But
of
I
his-
used to hang glide as well, and that's a different world too.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
flying, but without passengers. You're just literally your own
Or
pilot.
you're as close as you're gonna get to being a bird because you're in control and all the decisions are yours.
What are those suits that make you look like a flying squirrel?
Oh,
And the guys,
Oh, yeah.
Bodysuits.
bodysuits.
like cliff jumping thing, right?
Yeah.
That like
Yeah, and you just open
those
your-
do have a name, but I can't remember the name.
I saw this video the other day, and the two guys did that, but they had carpets, and they had the regular suit, but they put a carpet underneath them as they went, so that it looked like they were on a flying carpet. But I all that stuff, I'm afraid of heights, and all that stuff just makes me, even like, watching a Tom Cruise movie or whatever, even knowing that he's all chained up and everything, and he's climbing some skyscraper or whatever, like my hands sweat, my feet sweat. Has anybody been to the CN Tower?
Yep.
And there's the glass floor, and intellectually I know that a bunch of people have gone up and come down and not died, and there was going to be a bunch more people later that day, but I just like
It's gonna happen when you're there.
I
Like,
cannot. There's something in me, like I guess it's the survival
Well,
instinct.
I'm the same. Like I've been in the tower, and I get as apprehensive as anyone when I'm on the edge of somebody. Just no, I don't want. What I find amazing with hang gliding, before I get off jump off the hill
Yeah.
or mountain, whatever, I'm just as scared as anyone. But as soon as my feet leave the ground, it's like I'm a bird. You got to wonder about humans and our connection to the planet. And like birds, I'm sure aren't afraid, but it's the same for me. As soon as my feet leave the ground, I'm at home. I'm calm and it's working. So it's an interesting interesting thing to do, to confront your fears and find out it's not grounded.
So Wayne likes to be a bird. Josh, if you were going to be something that wasn't a person, what would you be?
I'll keep the bird theme going. Probably a raven or a crow, which I actually am in both of my solo shows. And just, I think, you talk about birds that are at home. There's such interesting birds who just like, they'll play, they'll like come back to people, they remember things. Like they're just such incredible creatures.
Chloe, what kind of animal do you want to be?
Probably a cat.
Yeah?
I feel like, yeah.
You just want to curl up and
Sleep all day.
Basically, it's a great life. You have 9
fed,
lives.
sleep.
You're doing
Yeah.
great.
Do you have cats?
I don't. My whole family's allergic. It's really tragic.
Everybody's allergic to cats. You just take an Arius. My family hates cats, and so I grew up without a cat. But we've had cats. I've been with my partner for a number of years, and we've had cats for a long time. We also have a couple of dogs. But the thing I love about cats is like they're just in the moment. You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes people say, "Oh yeah," I hear like, "Oh yeah, my cat's an asshole. He's got a grudge against me." I'm like, "No, he doesn't." Like, you know what I mean? The instant one of our cats has to have medication squirted in her mouth, and I grab her every night by the head and like this because she's very crazy and scratchy, and then like 15 minutes later she's forgotten, right? She's not, we're good, whatever, she's or like they'll all be sleeping and then something will go crash and then they all jump out of their skin and they're all running around and then they're just sleeping again. And I think that's a great, they're not worried about things, right?
Unbothered. You don't have anxiety.
No.
That's very appealing.
Yeah, no. Do you have any animals out there at the farm, Wayne?
A dog and a cat.
Yeah.
The dog wants to be friends with the cat, but the cat won't have it.
Yeah. The age-old tale, eh? We have our house. We live in the house attached to here, and it's pretty small. So our rule is when we get a dog, because we always adopt old dogs. So we go through a lot of dogs. We usually only have them for a year or two before it's their time. But our rule is when we get a dog, is the dog has to not be interested at all in the cats. Because like a dog that's too interested in cats, sometimes they like wanna. And we've got big dogs. Our dogs are always big, over 100 pounds. So you don't really want a dog that decides that he's going to want to put the cat inside his mouth, kind of thing. But this is the cat's in charge, and the dog sort of would like to be on the inner circle, but he's not. And there's only 2 of them. That's very sad.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's a rescue dog. I got him when he was about 5, so I don't know his backstory, but
Yeah.
I assume it was violence. He came from up north as well, and it's even when I come home tonight, I've had him for about 6 years now. He recognizes the car I get out, and he's going like, "Who are you?" It takes him a few minutes to accept me again.
Yeah. How long do you have to be gone for? Like an hour, 2?
Well, yeah, I just go into town in like an hour and come back, and he's like, "Okay, where are you?"
Josh, you have animals?
I've got a cat,
Yeah.
a little orange guy.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Is-
missing a lot right now.
Yeah. Is he as dumb as most orange cats, or is he
No,
smart?
he's pretty smart, and like I get the stereotype, and I don't, because like he's quite sharp, but he's also very like playful and kind of oafy from time to time, and can be really silly. But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just a unique orange cat.
I mean, it's obviously just a little fun
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, we have one orange cat who's very dumb, but he's very happy. And then one who's, I don't think he's so dumb, but he likes to get into things.
Yeah.
But the dumb one, like, yeah, I mean, he's just so happy. He's just like ignorance is bliss, right?
That's my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dog is dumb and happy.
Yeah. Well, he thinks he's a cat, so I guess I kind of won in that regard.
Okay. Have you ever had, how long have you been farming, Wayne?
It's a heritage farm, so I live in the house I grew up in.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say I'm sort of the prodigal son. Went off, did other things,
Yeah.
which some talk on my show a bit about it. But yeah, about 40 years I've been managing,
Yeah.
and I never think of myself as the owner. I pay the taxes on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I'm in transition. I inherit it from someone. Someone else is going to take it over me, and that's one of the things I think we tend to forget, that we are just links in a chain, all of us. Like we're handing off the planet to somebody else in the future.
So how long has the farm been operating?
I don't know, 120 years or something.
Who
like
started
that.
the farm?
My great-grandfather.
Wow.
And so a line from the play is that I never met my great-grandfather. He died long before I was born, but there's an old oak tree on the farm that was a young tree when my grandfather was there. And for me, it's a living link
Yeah.
between me and my ancestors.
Amazing.
Yeah, and for me, it grounds me and my imagination. And it's for me, it's a useful way of thinking. But as people, we don't tend to think that way, or our culture, or Western culture, doesn't think that way, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. But that's so true. It's like the generations, like we often say there's the 7 generations ahead of us and the 7 generations before us. And even just living my day-to-day life in this capitalistic world, bringing that train back here, I forget that. But it's humbling to be like, you are a link in a chain, and there are chains ahead of you and before you, and you are connected. And your ancestry is always close to you. And I just think that's really cool. You're like carrying that legacy on.
Doing the best I can.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Do you think that is one of the strengths of art and of theater and of stuff like this, is where we can see what we have in common? Where I can see somebody on stage who's doesn't look like me, who maybe grew up in a different way or a different place or whatever, but like so many of those feelings and desires and all those things are universal. Yeah.
I also think that like it's a way to leave an impact on the world, and kind of, because art will precede us, like even after you're gone, sometimes your work continues to kind of live on, and maybe sometimes it becomes more relevant or impactful as time goes on and takes on a whole new meaning. So I think art evolves with kind of as we evolve as society.
And I've been saying this in other discussions, but I feel like live performance is our last bastion against AI, because I feel like this is a thing that has a soul, and a thing that cannot be replicated, a thing that cannot be faked. I mean, if you're sitting in the theater watching somebody, you're getting exactly what you're getting. There's no tricks. I mean, except for regular theater tricks, and it just feels like more and more important to me, as like it's hard to even know what's real when you're watching just stuff, and some things are just pointlessly fake. Like, I read something on Facebook the other day that was some article. No, it was a thing about how Frank Sinatra was really great to this, this guy who worked for him on this movie. The guy was a lighting guy or something, and his daughter was in a car accident, and Frank Sinatra very quietly, paid for the hospital bills. All this stuff, really nice story. And I thought, feels something weird about this, and I looked it up and looked around and figured it out, and it was not. It only existed in this exact format and not anywhere except wherever it was created. It was an fake AI story that was, and I'm just like, why? And it's very, and I mean, all the people that saw it on Facebook, whoever posted it, they all liked it. They were like, oh yeah, it's a lovely story. And it was a lovely story, but it was bullshit. And I feel like we are losing our ability to tell even what's real. Even a new thing now is I've seen lots of old sort of vintage pictures that people are kind of purporting to be, vintage pictures, and they're obviously they're too clear. They're, it's some nice young lady dressed in Victorian thing sitting on a fountain, and it's the right kind of shape of things, but it's just not real. And then once those things get out there, that picture is going to be out there forever as a real picture, and it's just not. And I feel like that's very pernicious. I feel like that's,
Very much so. We're losing our connection to the living land, where that's our source of our spirit. That's where we learn how to be human beings, is from the living world. Technology is technology. It's not part of the living world. And so we're losing that, in a sense, our soul. I had someone, I was in, talking to, trying to promote my show. And someone asked me, well, do I do my own work or somebody else's? Well, I do my own work. And for me, that's the hardest thing. Like I can memorize somebody else's words. And it's easy for me to memorize someone else's and just present that. But to present my own material, I have to know what I'm talking about. And I find it very difficult to write something down and then look at it and go, well, that's not me. I don't want to memorize what I'm going to say. I just want to be and it's knowing your material well enough.
Yeah.
I'm slowly learning how to write down stuff and memorize stuff because sometimes I come up with a good line and I just don't want to forget it.
Yeah.
But and those lines come up from being engaged with a project that is important, that isn't AI generated, but, well, I guess we end up talking about the soul, really. It's who we are as people. And we tend to forget that all of life supports us. Like one of the themes I have is seeds. And seeds have been here long before it. Like they support us. If there were no seeds, there would be no humans. There'd be a lot less life. But with AI, we're learning how genetic engineering our seeds without any thought about what a seed thinks about it. And as a farmer, I'm going, well, that's my job, is to represent the seed's interest. Because the seeds can't talk, but they can communicate to me if I'm there to listen. And how do I listen to a seed? Well, AI can't tell me how to do that. It's my ancestor, that link in the chain. If you're conscious of that link that brought you here, there's that energy. I'm also a musician. I don't know if any of you guys are, but for me, when you're in that zone as a musician, you're conscious of the sound you just created, and that wave of energy is actually projecting out in front of me. And I'm trying to harmonize those past and the present energies as well. So that is a life experience. And that's something AI has no idea about, but it's a life energy. And it's the same. Our ancestors want the best for their children, the ancestors or the future generations. That's an energy that they're pushing into the future, and I'm just part of that wave, and I'm trying to harmonize with that wave that creates a good energy that we're able to project into the future. And it gets, I'm hoping I'm not getting esoteric sort of thing, but to me it's fundamental.
Do you feel like do you try to do that sort of with every part of your life, or you feel like you're doing that?
That's part of why I do Fringe, is to challenge myself, right? I can just walk through life and not pay anything. So the more I engage with it, then the more it becomes part of who I am. And so it's part of that growth pattern, I suppose.
Because I guess I feel like I've done a lot of things in my life, but I've ended up, I've fallen into some work which was not a thing that I intended on doing, and that happens sometimes. I move people, and I deal with estates, and I do stuff like that. And I've been talking to my my therapist, and she's encouraged me that, like, whatever you're doing, it's important how you're doing it. Because I told her I was doing this job where it was a house clean out, and the woman was kind of a sort of a hoarder. That's a bit reductive. She was lots of other things, but the house was a real mess. And I did what I could to try to make sure that, lots of things had to end up in the garbage, and we had a big bin that we emptied 4 times. But I tried to like, she was a big animal person. She loved animals. And so her horse had died a year before she died. So she had a bunch of, like, old riding boots and saddles and a bunch of stuff like that. And so I made sure that those all went somewhere where, hopefully, some kids out in the country. A friend of mine lives out in the country, and he said, not all the kids around here can afford, their own stuff. So, I'll clean it up and figure it out and see what's still good and whatever. And I think, like, that, to me, that felt respectful that person's life. And so even though this is not really the thing that turns my crank, doing this kind of work, I feel like whatever you're doing, if you have art in your soul, I mean, you need to bring that to whatever you're doing. So I'm just kind of wondering. I'm wondering about what good energy you're putting out there when you're farming, or are you just cussing and smashing things?
I made peace with the world 50 years ago. Sort of the idea of, for me, I do the best I can.
Yeah.
And in terms of religion, if there's a God or if I'm being judged, I'm doing the best I can. And if that's not good enough, well, then sort of give him the finger because.
Yeah.
But doing the best I can is being open to the idea that I do make mistakes, and part of my show is also learning to think about the other. I was brought up to think that the other is the enemy. The other is the person, sitting, those people at the table, they are the other, and I don't know anything about them. Well, the other is the person that gives me perspective. They see things I don't see, right or wrong, but they can feed back perspective, and it's being open to the things around us. Right now, I have a strawberry you pick. It's open, but there's nobody there. There's just a pail on the ground with a sign that says, if I'm not around, leave the money in the pail.
Yeah.
That's the kind of world I want to live in.
Yeah.
And you can't wish for it. You got to make it happen. You have to be a participant in the world you're living in, or you're just along for the ride, and you get what.
Do people leave money in the pail? Are they doing it? Yeah.
And I don't know. I could be getting ripped off too.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
you don't know. You're not counting the strawberries.
Yeah. But the other thing is, I'm sure people leave more money than what I would expect them to.
What are the strawberries like right now? Are they good? It's been so wet and so hot.
Yeah. Well, it's end of season, so there's a lot of overripes, and it's pretty thin.
I always miss the season. I'm a raspberry guy, though. I love raspberries. Yeah, Josh?
All the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I love strawberries too, but there's something about raspberries.
Raspberries are so good.
I had a raspberry bush growing up in my family's backyard, and we could just pick off of that every summer. Then our dog destroyed it, and we were all very, very sad.
Yeah.
Just
digging a hole or what?
Digging a hole. Well, actually, no. It was half and half. He destroyed half of it, but it also grew super, super big and became very weedy. So we had to take the rest of it out.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate.
One of our dogs right now is an old Great Pyrenees cross, and I think he's probably crossed with golden retriever because he's kind of dumb. But he does this thing. Do you know anything about your farm guy? Do you know Piers, right? The big white dogs.
Mine's a Pyrenees.
Yeah, and they do a lot of them do this thing, and he didn't do it for a year. And I was like, great, he's not doing the thing. And then he started doing it in the last 2 months. He's digging the hole to lion, and he digs a big hole. And I put out all these nice wood chips because the yard was kind of messed up right where he sits. All these nice wood chips, and he dug it all up. And it's been raining so much, and he's just lying in the dirt, in the gross wet dirt. And he just lies there, and he's happy. And I'm just and he's white. And he's just so dirty, and I'm like, well, I guess he's happy, right?
I got to wonder. Mine was sort of the same story with mine.
Yeah.
I had him for about 6 years, and this year he decided to lay in the flower beds. He'd never done that before.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a cooling thing, right? I guess. Yeah. He can sit in the house if he wants. We get air conditioning. I mean, that's
Maybe it's a dog network where
it's like a secret code. Yeah. Send this down this tunnel up to this place.
Josh, how do you do with the heat?
Okay. I mean, I run cold, so it takes a bit to get me up there. But this heat has been crazy. I was telling my billet, because I flew in Monday when it was 38 degrees. And as soon as I got out the airport, I literally felt like I was walking out of the Vegas airport. It was just this wave of desert heat. And I was like, oh my God, is this Winnipeg or am I about to go gamble?
Somebody else said a very similar thing to me, but it is kind of, even last night it was 20 degrees or whatever. So I turned my AC off for 20 minutes, and then I'm just sweating. It's just so damp. And I'm always moving and I'm always doing stuff. And I said, this is my third set of interviews today. And I was at work this morning, and then I kind of just got finished sort of 15 minutes before I was doing the first one. And I said to my partner, I said, am I dry? Because I was just sweating so much. And they go, sort of. I'm like, great, I'll take it. How do you like the heat, Chloe?
I mean, sometimes I like laying out in the sun, but then other times I'm just like, climate change, constant reminder.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is doing that. Josh, tell me again. I've heard people talk about Elon Muskrat, and I want to say it's a great name.
Thank you.
I mean, I think like it's one of those things where you're like, well, I'm going to go to it because the name is so
Yeah.
good.
And it's funny because that's sort of how the show began, because like it was literally just a joke between me and a friend of mine back home. He's a Cree like director, former actor, festival producer, and I've worked with him and his family a bunch. And he was like, "Hey, you should do a show one day about a guy named Elon Muskrat." I just thought it was the funniest thing. But the more I sat with that idea, and him and I kind of texted back and forth, I sort of like found this character that was like, well, yeah, it's a funny name, but like if I can give this character this like layer that like kind of surprises people, then I think I might actually have a show here. And it took me, like I did the show at the Edmonton Fringe last year, and it was literally I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how people respond to it. I'm not even sure if I like this show yet. And by the end of the run, I was really having fun with it. So it's like, well, I'll take it elsewhere and see how other people respond to it. And I'll keep trying to have fun with it. Because the show is what you think it is and also not what you think it is.
Yeah. I've been doing this. I've been doing interviews, Fringe interviews for since maybe 2014, and a few years ago, I guess, I don't know, somewhere around Black Lives Matter, we were talking about Fringe, hashtag Fringe so white, and I'm wondering, I've had some good interviews this year with some people I hadn't met, some artists of color. Do you think that Fringe is as white as it used to be?
Going back to what you were sort of saying before, it's like this. I think Fringe is getting better that way, because like when kind of like you were saying about you see the void, you try to fill it. For years I'd go to the Edmonton Fringe and just be like, I don't see me or like my people or my stories in there, so I'm gonna go create that myself. And I applied to CAF, got drawn first, and then and I was like, well, now I have to write a friggin' show. So that's how my first solo show began. But then fast forward to this past year where I had Elon Muskrat sort of ready-ish. I applied to CAF, and I wasn't even drawn on the wait list. And when I actually contacted them just to be curious if there was like another list somewhere, they're like, no, like, that's so cool you guys have that many artists of color apply to the BIPOC lottery, that now there's like a wait list and just people who don't even make the cut. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a lot of work to be done for sure.
And I should mention Joe McDonald is a great Indigenous playwright. You're a playwright who's done lots of things, but I did actually just, Wayne did say a lot of good things, and that did make me that made me think of something that Wayne said about the other, and about a lot of this gatekeeping that you see all over, that is not necessarily race based, but I mean a lot of it is will whatever it is, it keeps people that are white men. It keeps white men in mostly in the mix of whatever the thing is. I love hearing about people's experience, that things that I don't have a frame of reference for. I love hearing people that don't look like me and didn't grow up like me, and I feel like that's sort of enriching and that's interesting. And like when I go to I've been to like Comedy Fest, and like there'll be like some 30-year-old white guy, and he does a set, And then there's another 30-year-old white guy. I remember seeing one, and I was like, I started getting confused. I was like, is this from the thing before? You know what I mean? Like their sets were, they were like, both, lived in an apartment with their cat and their partner and had the same, you know what I mean? I'm just like, and so it's sort of, it's hard for me to know why. I mean, I know why people are threatened by it, but it's really hard for me to understand why you'd be threatened by other folks coming in and sort of sharing their life experience, because that's, I don't want to hear from somebody who's had the exact same life as me. I want to hear like a Fenny. She's doing it's the life of Tupac Shakur's mother, who and all the stuff with the Black Panthers, and just super interesting. It's not a thing that I don't know anything about it. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I would like to see, and I think that sometimes just does it get frustrating for you to see, like, I don't know, you ever on TikTok?
No,
because
I'm
TikTok,
luckily that I've been avoiding the whole TikTok thing, because I feel like I'll go into it and never come out.
because it's a cesspool, and like, so like somebody had a in Winnipeg, they put a GoPro on their head and they rode their bike down the river and got a bunch of film of all the folks that were living in encampments down by the river. They posted that on TikTok, and then all the comments were just so vile. The things that people think, but also the things that people feel like it's okay to say, and it's just gross, and I don't understand. I think somewhere we went from the people that are all worried about virtue signaling. I guess they've got their wish, because it's all just vice signaling now. We've got just people saying absolutely most disgusting things. And I think if you mentioned like if you mentioned the Fringe's BIPOC lottery to certain people, like they would just lose their shit, and just like just things like, and you've heard it all, but things like, what more do these people want from us? And you know what I mean? Like just the gross, just the, and things that don't even have to do with them at all. But it's just an excuse to be like, oh yeah, I was right. I've made myself, and, all these people are like, the province has been trying to open this supervised consumption site over here, like so close we could go outside front and throw a rock, and if you had a good arm you could hit it. And we're closer than nobody lives closer to this place than I do. And all the people that have been trying to stop this thing are they don't live here, they're all but they're all people that just think, oh, the government's selling drugs, and and we've got so many problems, and nobody wants to do anything to these things that we're trying to do, which are not perfect, but the things that are trying to be done to help people.
Well, we always react to things. We're never proactive, or we don't cast ourselves into the future and see the problems we have now. How are they going to play out? And I think that's a large part of, well, for me, theater, the arts, we're communicating life. That's what we're trying to communicate, is life. And life is so diverse, so it's like, well, the rest of life, there's diversity, but we're losing the connection again to the land, and we're forgetting that we are actually connected to each other. And technology tends, in my mind, isolates us from each other, and we're losing our humanity, and we're losing our ability to appreciate the other as a living energy that has its needs and stuff. And our reactions are always, we need more money for police work. We need more money to, suppress the violence, instead of saying, what's the source of this violence from, and addressing root problems. We don't address the root problem. We try to suppress things, and it doesn't work that way. You put a pressure cooker now, and it's just going to get worse. And Yeah, that's to me, that's the artist role as well, to show us, yeah, we are all human. We need to empower our connections to each other and to the world we're living in, not isolate. We're going the wrong direction.
I also feel like that kind of ties into what you were saying earlier about like kind of the gatekeeping of theater and also the accessibility of Fringe. Because when you think of like more main stage or professional theater, it's very inaccessible to most people. And like you go see a show there, who's the audience? It's a bunch of really old white people. So they always program their shows for that audience. So you're not seeing that diversity. Meanwhile, at something like Fringe, the ticket prices are a lot more accessible. You let anyone can put their name in it. Anyone can kind of create a show. So then you don't have to be as necessarily, when you're creating a show, like you're not thinking about like, oh, how are the old white people always going to react to my show and the way you might when
Won't somebody think of the old whites? Yeah.
But that's a good point. Accessibility, like that's how I got into Fringe. I had a bug, and it's okay if I get drawn and I put up some money, I'm in, and I'm not judged to get in. It's just whatever I want to do. I now have a platform, and to me, this is so fundamental to the health of the community. Like the Winnipeg Fringe, to me, is just like I'm so excited about it, and that there is this venue that anybody can put their name in. If you get drawn, you're in, and whatever you do is your business, sort of thing. And yeah, I'm not in it for the money. That's, I think I broke even on one show, but that's not the point. In my mind, money is the most selfish thing we've ever invented. With our imagination, it fosters, encourages selfishness, and that's defeating us. That's part of the problem here. The people that don't have money, well, I'm useless. I'm not part of society anymore. That's a good part of how drugs and alcohol, the abuse of the body comes into play, because you're just feeling like a useless person because you're preached to. We're preached to that you have to have all these things. I come into the city, and I got to do a shout out to the Winnipeg Parking Authority, and not a good one. If I don't have a cell phone, I'm not allowed to park in downtown. Like, what the hell? They're forcing me into technology that I don't want. How do you fight back against the system like that is so ingrained that you have to be efficient? It's not about making connections, it's just efficiency and losing contact between each other.
That's why I think the arts can be such a great cooling effect too, because like we can watch something on a screen, and I think TikTok is awful for this because it's quick. It like messes with our attention spans, and we can like pause a screen, we can go away from the screen. But as soon as you get into a room with real people, you're breathing the same air, and like I think there is some research that says like your heartbeats can come together. So like there's this way of like we're now feeling something together, and I think that really does cool the effects and helps us slow down, and it does build empathy in a way that I don't think we get anywhere else.
Oh, there definitely is an empathy gap. And talking about money, I was looking something up this morning, and in 1999 there was like 23 billionaires in Canada, and now there's 80 something. It's quadrupled.
3,400.
What's that?
3,400 billionaires.
No, in Canada.
Oh, in Canada.
Yeah, I'm just saying just in Canada, because I was looking at a specific thing, and it's quadrupled, and so but that is the way that we decide if something is useful or not. I told you I deal with these estates. Like, I sell stuff all the time, so I know in Winnipeg at any given time how much this thing's worth $40, this thing's worth $200. But in the greater sense, we people that are that are doing stock trading, and people that are doing whatever, all these other banking, all these other things, like, and they're making a lot of money. So we say those jobs are worth this amount of money, and that's tough for me, because one of the things that I've learned, like I've lived in the core for a long time, but I've been right here for about a dozen years, and this is the second poorest postal code in Canada. We've got all the missions over here, and so I've had a lot of guys help me, with various jobs and various tasks and whatever, who are, guys who've kind of lived on the margins, and one thing that people really get wrong when they say, well, look at these people, look at how lazy that guy is. That guy's never worked a day in his life. I mean, being poor and being brown too, is hard, and it's hard work. And some of these guys, like, when people go to work, I mean, you are busting your ass, like, breaking up concrete stairs, or I know contractors, I don't know them, but I know of contractors that will, like, grab up guys at the the day labor place and have them do asbestos, have them take all the asbestos out and pay them whatever minimum wage is. And well, it's not safe for me to do, but this guy can do it. And they're getting paid peanuts, because we don't think that that's we don't think that that part of this job is worth anything. And also, as a person who lives with mental illness, and my partner hasn't worked for a couple of years because they can't, and, like, there's a lot of people who just can't participate in the same way, at the same level, at the same pace as, I have another good friend right now who's I've barely been able to get hold of her for 2 weeks because she's having some kind of a crisis, and she's been holed up in her place. And, like, she's smart and she can work hard and she can do all these things, just not, like, all the time. And we don't seem to have, it's like, if you can't do this in this way, you're not worth this money. And that's the thing that really bothers me, because we need money to live, obviously. So it bothers me that people have such a hard time, certain people, really kind of just making ends meet. But the other end of that is there's, like, these people with, like, gross amounts of money, and since we've had our housing boom here, and you've seen them, there's these mansions, building them, like, out on like by, where the DeLucas is, out on McGillivray. There's, like, a street there. I think it's maybe the part of Brady, but there's just all these, like, places where there's building. Like, I was at this house to deliver some stuff for a friend of mine I have a friend who builds, like, closets and stuff. He builds, like, walk-in closets for rich people, and, like, this house was just like this mansion, and I'm just like, and I always just, when I see something like that, I go, like, how did they do this, and why are there all these people who, are working just as hard or harder, or are just as valuable as you, or maybe more valuable, and they've got, like, nothing, It just seems so, and it just seems to get worse and worse.
It's like, why do you need this much space, and couldn't this have been used for something more community-based? Because, again, it becomes the stratification of who has more, who has less. But we're not taught to think circular. We're not taught, and I mean circular in a sense of, like, we're all part of the same circle. We're all part of the same community. Your issues are my issues. But no, I don't want to actually deal with those issues. So I'm going to hide in this giant mansion, pay someone to clean my house for me, rather than actually cleaning it myself, and just pretend like I'm actually contributing something meaningful to the hearts of people that are struggling, when really you're not. Like,
well, and when I've had, when I have helpers, helping me move and whatever, like, I pay them well, and they're almost getting what I'm getting, and I got the truck and all the other stuff. But I've seen some people, like that get taken advantage of, and well, he's just going to spend it on booze or drugs or whatever anyway. So this is fine. This is good. He doesn't need this much. And I mean, people do whatever with their money that they're going to do with it. But, like, to say that this person isn't as valuable as you because you think their life is kind of,
well,
shitty.
you fall into hard times and you can't get out of it. And once you start sort of a downward slide is very tough to turn that around, especially when you don't have any support around you. And I mean, financing of these things always goes, we have these projects. Well, no, I guess I shouldn't go there. In this terms, like a lot of my show, I talk about stuff like this. But again, money, as I said before, it's selfish, and we collect it to ourselves, and the rich somehow are immune to this, and we aspire to be rich. There's a lottery on, and then it's 100 million or something. More money in the lottery, more people buy tickets. It's like, how much money do you need to live a life? We don't set an upper cap. We're losing, again, it's part of the technology thing. We're losing connections to each other, connections to reality. And we don't see the suffering of people anymore. We know, no, I didn't see that. And we just drive by and we try to focus. I need all this money, and if I'm going to retire and live comfortably, I need all this money now. And you talk about the stock exchange. Well, that's taking money out of the future. We're indenturing our children to a system that is going to tread them down in the future.
So what I'm hearing, Wayne, is we should all come and live on your farm.
I like this plan.
Get a little crowded there.
Can have strawberries.
Do you have? Well, let me ask this. We've just got a few minutes left, but I want to know. Like, you said something that I was been thinking about. As we become more urbanized, more dependent on technology, and do kind of lose our connection with the land. What's the fix for that?
Well, I still believe we're a democratic society. I mean, that's part of what the arts is about, is to remind us that we are human beings. We have the right to. I've run as a federal candidate numerous times. My take on politics is how we look after each other in the world we're living in, but we always make it about the economy. It seems to supersede everything. So it's education, but we're going the wrong direction. It's got so much momentum. How are you going to change it around?
But in the macro, that's true. But like on the granular level, like what would you tell me if I'm like, well, how should I get in touch with the land, Wayne?
Hug a tree.
Hug a tree. Okay.
It's practical.
Yeah, but it is, first you got open to the idea that there's an energy there that is real, and we're losing our sensitivity to the living world. We're sensitive to the computer age. We're actually inbreeding with technology, I would suggest, as opposed to...
Josh, how do we stop fucking technology?
Fuck something else.
A tree. Fuck a tree.
Yeah, fuck a tree. Wood on wood. Nail to nail,
How do you get in touch with nature?
Well, yeah, I think that's great practical advice. But one thing I tell younger artists all the time, and kids especially too, it's like, know where you come from and know the lands you come from, because there's stories there, and we're all indigenous to somewhere. I know people throw that term around a lot, and the indigenous people of Canada are from these lands, but your ancestors are indigenous to somewhere out there, and just knowing that and knowing where you come from, you'll naturally become curious about what stories come from your land, and I guarantee you that will impact you at I like that term, granular level. It's a grain of knowledge.
I like to use the $3 word every now and then. Chloe, how do you like to get in touch with the land? Take the dog for a walk and pick up his poop?
Well, first of all, just fuck AI.
Yeah.
Any use of that does not belong anywhere near anything. I think just to really take that time to acknowledge, both of these, you both said it very greatly, but to kind of acknowledge that we are part of this land, and it is our job to leave it better than we found it. And in utilizing technology that is actively killing our planet, but that's just, I think AI has no place in theater at all.
I am currently leaving things worse than I found them, because I've missed I missed the in between when it was not raining and not 30 degrees, when it was like 20 and not raining. So I have not cut my grass. Currently worse than how I found it. We've just got a couple more minutes. Chloe, are you going to try to see some shows?
For sure.
What are you going to see?
Well, I got to see both of these shows
now.
Yeah,
of course.
I definitely need to see Our Father by Ethan Stark.
Okay.
That looks fantastic. 11 Please by Kinetica also looks fantastic.
Wayne, what are you gonna? Are you too busy? You're working. You got to go home and work.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
One of the things I like to do is just throw a dart at the board and just go see think something
Yeah.
I don't know anything about, because I worry that we become elitist, or clique. Well, I got to see these 5 stars. I got to see these. I got to see these. We have to support the people that are struggling on the bottom as well. And so, yeah, I encourage people, just don't worry, don't look at the program, nothing. Just go see a show. I always like to see Martin. I like to see people that I feel are doing a better show than I, just to see how they craft the show. It's a part of the learning as well. But even those that aren't making it to the top, there's always opportunities to learn.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just on that point, screw the free press reviews.
But as a as a storyteller, like Martin is amazing to me because he carries like he's got like 6 or 7 full shows in his head that he could just do, because like when he I just know that and he can he can go to one Fringe and do something else. He'll do 2 Fringes, he'll do 2 shows in one Fringe, and I'm just like as an ADHD person who like I never even know where I put my keys, I'm just like amazed, that it just the like his mind is like a steel trap for all that stuff, and it's stuff that he wrote, and he can make it. He's not just memorizing it, sort of wrote. He makes it, every performance feels, Josh, what are you going to try to go see?
I try to also catch your guys' shows if I can. I've got a very tight window of today and tomorrow, but I'll do the best I can. Tonight, I kind of want to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because I love that musical, and it's I don't know, I haven't seen it or engaged with it for a while. I love the songs, and I'm probably gonna go just sing along, get some toast before I go.
Fun. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you all so much for stopping by. Chloe Crockford, damn it, Wayne James, and Josh Longdo. I've just been sitting here like, because I had the wrong name. Ella something, some other person. Thank you all so much. They have got fantastic shows. Your show is
Mother's Secret.
Mother's Secret, Humans, and Elon Muskrat, which is, did you trademark it? Because that's just...
No, but I should. That's
You
smart.
should.
I should get in on that.
Yeah, he's got to do it. So thank you to my guests, and thank you so much to you for stopping by. Lots more interviews coming up. And like Wayne says, hey, throw a dart at something, go see it. Or just go see all the 1-star shows.
Hell yeah.
You'll be happy you did. Or not, who knows. Anyway, thank you so much. Art will save us all. Talk to you again.